The manillas, the bronze currency that destabilized Africa. Imagine a small object, a simple bronze bracelet, capable of altering the destiny of entire nations. In 19th century West Africa, this object, the manilla, was much more than currency. It was a symbol of power, prestige, wealth, and even affection. But how could something so modest cause such profound instability? How did a bronze currency contribute to the collapse of tribal structures and the rise of violent conflicts? To understand, we must travel back in time to cities like Benin and Lagos, where manillas circulated as currency, exchanged for slaves, gold, and political agreements. They were not merely economic instruments, but also markers of status. Tribal chiefs used them as symbols of authority, offering them in ceremonies and sealing alliances with their ancestral shrine. The balance began to unravel when European colonizers flooded the African market with mass-produced manillas, completely ignoring their cultural and symbolic value. Manufactured without quality or respect for tradition, these new manillas triggered an economic collapse. What was once a sign of prestige became common and devalued. Formerly wealthy tribes saw their fortunes vanish overnight, while others, with access to cheap manillas from the colonizers, quickly grew rich. This imbalance created tension, destroyed alliances, and ignited conflict. A simple bracelet had become a spark for tribal wars, fueled by pride, survival, and the pursuit of power. The once vibrant streets of Benin and Lagos, full of trade, culture, and rituals, became scenes of confrontation. Manillas, once a sign of honor and unity, were now viewed as symbols of decline. The impact was not only economic but social, political, and psychological. Chiefs who had built their prestige over generations lost not just their wealth but also their recognition and leadership. This scenario resembles a river that flows in balance for centuries until a dam is suddenly opened, releasing a destructive force. The flood of cheap manillas was that torrent. In their attempt to optimize the system, the colonizers dismantled everything. The devaluation created a devastating domino effect. Tribes that were once allies became enemies. Mutual respect was replaced by distrust. Chiefs who had lost everything resorted to violence as a last option to reclaim their position. Thus, wars once unimaginable broke out, not over resources, but over honor, survival, and dignity. Imagine a society where a person's value is tied to an object, and from one day to the next, that object becomes worthless. Those once revered become irrelevant. The social fabric tears. Trust gives way to hostility. That's how manillas ceased to be just currency and became symbols of despair. But the impact of manillas extended beyond the battlefield. It penetrated deep into social and cultural structures. Chiefs who had accumulated manillas over generations lost not only their wealth but their place in history. The economic collapse became an identity collapse. This phenomenon is not exclusive to the past. It echoes to this day in the visible scars across parts of Africa and in unresolved inequalities. Manillas reveal that money can be more than a medium of exchange. It can be a tool of control, of domination, or of ruin. The Manila crisis also warns us of similar dangers in modern times. Today, we live in an era where digital currencies and abstract financial assets shape our economy. The 2008 financial crisis showed that when asset values are artificially inflated and then collapse, the impact is global. Like the manillas, these modern currencies carry both promise and peril. The most powerful lesson manillas leave us is that the value of money goes far beyond the material. It is social, symbolic, cultural. Ignoring that is to play with the balance of entire societies. The colonizers failed to understand or chose to ignore this value, and they paid for it with the chaos they unleashed. There is yet another lesson: the importance of respecting distinct cultures. The European mistake was seeing manillas through Western eyes, without trying to understand their true meaning to Africans. Today, in an increasingly multicultural world, respect for traditions and the past is essential to avoid repeating such errors. Finally, this story forces us to reflect. In a world where money is constantly transforming, from metal coins to digital codes, are we truly prepared to handle the consequences of our creations? Do we understand the symbolic power of money? Or are we simply repeating the same cycles under new names? If you enjoyed this journey through the history of manillas and want to discover more financial curiosities, economic mysteries, and surprising narratives, subscribe to Mundo Enriquecedor. Turn on notifications for upcoming videos and share this content with those who also want to understand how money shapes the world. See you on the next journey into a past that still echoes in the present.